Joining us now is Mark Mix, President, National Right to Work Foundation. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Hans. It's good to be with you. And there is lots of news, including news about workers trying to get out of unions.
Yes, and we'll get to that. But before we do that, look, the rumor mill is going full steam ahead in Washington. We've seen a lot of Trump appointments so far, DHS, the UN. What are you hearing about Department of Labor?
Well, obviously, before the election, there were names that were pushed forward. Andy Pudzer was considered. He was considered the first time, if you recall correctly, under Biden under Trump. And then Pat Pizzella, who was the acting Secretary of Labor, who is now the mayor of Pinehurst, North Carolina. Pat has been a long time associate of supporter of Right to Work. But Pat's a good guy. He's been talked about. But I haven't heard anything else really. Ultimately, those positions are the president's, and he's going to do what he wants to do. It's been exciting to hear what he's up to so far and kind of bringing some fresh people and fresh names and fresh thoughts into the cabinet as he heads toward inauguration.
Well, the NLRB, National Labor Relations Board, is obviously crucial when it comes to unions, because they're supposed to be this neutral arbitrator, but my understanding is they haven't been very neutral in recent years with the picks that have been put on them by Democrats. They've been very pro-union. So you've got a situation going on with a organic supermarket wants to de-unionize the employees do. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's right, Hans. And to your point, you're absolutely right. It was within 20 minutes of Biden being sworn in as President of the United States that he issued a fire or resign letter to the acting general counsel of the National Labor Relations Board. That's the chief lawyer over there. And basically, by the end of that day, that general counsel was fired from his job. And the next day, the associate general counsel was fired from the job because they wanted to get their person there right away. And what that means and how that manifests itself, Hans, is very clear in this example of this mom's organic market. They've been trying to get out of a union. Interestingly enough, 29% of the workers voted to get the union in about 18 months ago. And the employees have come back and said, we don't want the union here anymore. They're not doing anything for us. We're not making any headway. We have a great relationship with management. And so the people have petitioned for what's called a decertification election. And this decertification election is when they get a secret ballot vote to throw the union out and basically say, we don't want you here anymore. We want to go back to where we were and talk to management. And obviously there'll be a hearing tomorrow on this case, but it's a really interesting case because this RD petition, this decertification petition, was filed after there was a bunch of settlements in what were alleged unfair labor practice charges by the employer in this case. And the union and the NLRB has used this unfair labor practice model where you basically, Hans, what you say is, hey, you did something wrong. There's no evidence, no hearing, no nothing yet, but they just stop all of the elections when the employees are requesting it to basically go through these hearings. So now we've got this petition filed. We had a good group of employees that signed the petition, so they should get a vote. But I doubt it because based on what you said, Hans, the NLRB has been an unfair arbiter of these issues, putting their thumb on the scale in favor of unions and in favor of union power.
Well, it sounds like the Biden administration set a good example for the Trump people when they come in to get rid of the general counsel and the associate general counsel at NLRB as soon as they get in, right?
Well, one would think, but this kind of tennis match that goes on is something that's one of the problems with the sewer. I call it a sewer because God makes swamps, men make sewers. So it's an important.
I'm totally stealing that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, there you go. But it just is amazing that they continue to push this stuff and so they've got to get out of it. I think he will. If I were recommending the president, if I had his ear today, I would say, look, moment one, fire this general counsel because that's where employees go to have their rights protected and activated, and that hasn't happened over the last 4 years. In fact, it's been so dramatic, Hans and Julie, that there's been a 50% increase in the number of decertifications over the last 4 years. And that's something that no one talks about. They always say, well, everyone wants to get in the union. Everyone has a favorable opinion of unions. Well, I'll tell you this. Not many people have a favorable opinion of forced unionism and compulsory unionism, but that's what this NLRB has been pushing, and they're pushing it right here on these employees at Mom's Organic Market up in Maryland.
This is really fascinating. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. And where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, they can find it. Well, the website is nrtw.org if you want to know about your legal rights. I think we're on that Twitter at pound right to work and all that stuff. I'm an old guy, so we have other people that take care of that. But yeah, I'm sure we can find ourselves. You can find us out there at Right to Work. Okay.
Great. Mark, keep us updated on this. Appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thank you.